Hey guys, it's your average middle-aged American back again with another reaction video. This one is going to be about Valencia. Why are foreigners flocking to this Spanish city is the title. Give some love to the original posters. I think that is Spain revealed. If not, I'll edit it out. There'll be a description. There'll be a link down in the description as always. And check out their channel. They have a lot of great information, great videos. So we hit 1,000 subscribers. That's absolutely incredible. I can't thank you guys enough. I learn something every day. And if you haven't subscribed already, hit that button. Doesn't hurt you, helps us. And we're building a nice little community. You know, a lot of information being shared in the comment section, and I can't thank you guys enough. All right, enough jibber jabber. Let's see what this is about.
Everyone wants to move to this Spanish city.
Valencia, I'm sorry, it's perfection.
It's on the mid, it's historic, plus the local food is fantastic. Valencia, a city of almost 800,000 inhabitants and on the country's east coast, is consistently rated as an expat favorite in Spain and the world.
Feels like the next big thing.
So today I'm going on
Wow.
an expat orientation tour with Kate,
Welcome.
How are you?
Good, thank you. Welcome back to Valencia.
Thank you.
an American who offers private tours here for tourists and for people interested in moving here to explore the diversity of lifestyle options in Valencia
Nice big houses that have their own gardens and their own pools.
and see firsthand why so many people want to call this city home. Plus, we're going to get a tour of her beachside home and meet her multicultural family.
Arriba, abajo, al centro y para adentro.
Up, down, out, and in.
We start in the Old Quarter, a beautiful blend of medieval buildings and sprawling plazas. It's the kind of
Look at that.
Down, out, and in.
We start in the Old Quarter, a beautiful blend of medieval buildings and sprawling plazas.
I mean, that's unreal. That's just, I mean, I know that's like no big deal, but you just don't see that stuff in America. It's really cool. What do you think? Is Valencia the next big thing for foreigners? For expats? What's your feeling on Americans moving to Spain? Let's be honest. Does it bother you? Do you look at it as a pro? You know, they're helping the economy, or do you look at it as a con? They're taking housing away from locals. Let me know. I'm interested.
It's the kind of historic center that you imagine when you imagine living in Europe. And it's extremely popular
Wow.
with many expats moving here who want to live the European dream.
We're going through right now one of the neighborhoods of the ciudad, El Carmen.
Okay.
You guys got to do something about the graffiti. I mean, does that not bother you to have buildings that are 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 1,200 years old, you know, and people have graffiti? Is it just not punished enough? Is that the problem there? I understand your crime is lower than America, other than maybe pickpocketing and such. But has the graffiti just become acceptable? I hate it. I think it's disgusting. Now, if somebody hires somebody to do a mural on the side of their building or whatever, hey, that's their deal. That's art. That's whatever it is. But that's not art behind her. I mean, if you look at that, there's no art there. That's just tagging. That's just. Do you guys have gangs? Because that's usually what graffiti is associated with in America. When it's not artistic, it's usually just people tagging their area. You know, this gang, you know, runs this area, that kind of thing. Let me know. I hate it.
This actually was my old neighborhood back in 1999, and it was a lot cheaper back then, let me tell you.
I'm sure.
Kate has lived in Valencia since 1999.
This is my old street, actually,
Oh, really?
James.
You used to live here?
She runs tours around Spain under the banner privatespaintours.com.
And offers a whole variety of tours in Valencia with her company Valencia Private Tours, both for tourists who want to explore the city and for future expats who want to move here. I'll drop her website down below.
Here,
Yeah.
it used to be 35,000 pesetas, and that's one of the reasons I moved from Madrid,
Yeah.
because in Madrid at that time, 35,000 pesetas could just get me like one back room.
So Valencia was cheap.
So it was this one right here that's a nice, beautiful yellow,
Okay, this
totally
one up
redone
here.
on the inside, yeah.
If that's still a 3-bedroom apartment, what would it cost now here in the old city?
I looked it up yesterday and I was shocked.
Yeah.
How is that acceptable for you? I mean, such a beautiful place. God, I can't get over the graffiti. I just can't. God, I hate it. I just hate it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was around 300,000 euros
To buy.
to buy. To rent this day and age, there's not a lot available to rent, but if you can find one, it will be at least 1,500.
So what were you paying in the equivalent in euros back then?
Around 185 euros a month for the whole apartment to myself.
And now you said it
including
would be...
utilities.
And now you said it would be
1,500.
obviously inflation, blah, 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 but not that much inflation.
Not that much. Definitely, I wish we'd bought back then.
Yeah. And if you're living in this old center, how old are these buildings?
Most of the facades and areas
Wow.
one would be actually living in today was refurbed late 1800s, early 1900s, although their origins go all the way back to Roman times, and you can still see some Roman columns sometimes in these buildings.
But living in the old quarter isn't for everyone. During our exploration, I run into a couple who took my Move to Spain masterclass. They've been here a year, living in the old city, and are now thinking of moving further out. Why? Because the reality is that the historic quarter, while beautiful, is full of tourists every day.
It can get very, very crowded here, especially in high cruise ship season. You do see lots of hordes of people, but after 5 p.m. when all the cruise ships are gone, then it's
Do a lot
more or
of
less
cruise
like
ships
this.
come here every, in high season?
We do. We have about a third of the amount of cruise ships that Barcelona gets. So, yes, we have them, but it's not overcrowding it completely like Barcelona is, for example.
Plus, as in other historic centers in Europe, the shops here are more and more suited to tourists than people actually living a life here. But the majestic central market here is full of locals shopping,
And here we see coming out to the beautiful market.
revealing that there's still a strong local community here in the historic center.
I mean, it's incredible. Look at the
Wow.
the dome up there.
That's really cool. Yeah, I don't like tourist shops much. Even though I'm a tourist. That's a really nice market. So each one of these little stands is its own business, right? They're like individual vendors. They're not, this isn't owned by one big company, right? I know the building is probably owned by somebody, but then they just rent out these little areas. Let me know how that works.
The produce. Are these locals? Like, do locals still shop in this market, even though it's become a bit of a tourist attraction?
Yeah, look at the grandmothers with their carts.
Yeah.
That means they're locally walking and buying and then wheeling their produce
So
back.
a lot of locals still do live in the old center, right?
They really do.
Yeah.
It hasn't been totally pushed out, and it's hard to not compare this to the Boqueria because most people come to Valencia, since it's not as popular, have seen Barcelona before, so they compare it.
Yeah.
But you can see all these shops are not filled with just tourist things to eat. It's
Yeah.
real local produce.
Next, Kate takes me to Ruzafa, a neighborhood that right now is an expat favorite. It's just beyond the old city, and here you get more space, more shops and restaurants serving locals, and, well, less tour groups on your doorstep.
And it's true that in the old center, I could feel a little claustrophobic. Here I come and there's space. There's these gorgeous buildings.
You can see the shops are different, right? This is
Bookshop.
Yeah, like a bookshop for paper and pens for school children, so it's clearly more geared towards residential. The market, seafood, for example. So a lot of foreigners, but foreigners that want to live here, not so much tourist foreigners. You can see that everything in this area is going to be minimum 300,000 and above to buy.
Kate tells me there are very few rentals available in Ruzafa these days due to demand. But if you can find one, a 1-bedroom would be about 900 euros a month, and a 3-bedroom would set you back about 1,500 euros a month.
You know, living in a neighborhood like this, we're right alongside the old. So walking distance to the old center, we're what, 10 minutes?
10, 15 minutes, depending on which part you're going to.
So you can still kind of feel connected to that area, the beautiful market, but you just have a bit more space, right? You have a bit more space out here. It's a bit more livable, really.
Clearly residential. A lot of locals do come here to use the extensive bars and restaurants. That are a ton of them in Ruzafa, which depending on the street can get loud as well, so you have to choose wisely your street.
Okay, so you want to make sure you're up in those upper stories, ideally.
Right,
If
and
you're,
perhaps not a bar down below.
if you're living here, that might get a little loud, but if you're up there, you're sort of okay.
Ruzafa seems like my kind of place, but if you're looking for something more modern with expansive green space on your doorstep and even a swimming pool, there are also options. Kate takes me a little further out to the City of Arts and Sciences.
Welcome to the area of the City of Arts and Sciences, which is not just for tourists. It's a great...
It really is amazing.
Takes me a little further out to the City of Arts and Sciences.
Welcome to the area of the City of Arts and Sciences.
I ain't gonna lie, it's pretty cool. I'm not really a big into modern stuff, you know, modern architecture and stuff, but you can tell it's pretty cool. Almost looks like a big fish. And you got all your green space, all your parks. I assume those are parks. I ain't gonna lie. 3 months ago, I didn't know anything about Spain. Now it's like I look at stuff about Spain every day. How the world turns.
Which is not just for tourists. It's a great residential neighborhood as well on both the north and south sides of the River Turia.
Where the skyline is dotted with modern apartment blocks that have gone up in the last few years. Just quickly, I run free monthly webinars with leading experts all about topics related to moving to Spain. Visas, tax, real estate, and more. So if you'd like to get an invitation to the next and future free webinars packed with information about moving to Spain, click the link in the description below. Okay, now back to the video.
Yeah, running along here was the river that would flood, right? So they dammed it up.
They did in 1957. There was one final flood, and they made it a beautiful landscaped park that's about 9 kilometers long and the biggest urban park in Spain. Sorry, right, Tito?
Bigger than the Retiro Madrid, Kate keeps telling me.
Kate mentioned the Turia Park as being the biggest in Spain. It's always a hive of activity of locals walking, jogging, and playing sports. And although Valencia is a pretty built-up city, this green lung that circles the old town means you're never far from green space. And the fact that Valencia is flat is a popular feature for people moving here because it means cycling is an easy mode of transport.
So this area has become really popular, especially for people with children, for both locals and foreigners, because a lot of the condos have a great deal of light. These newer condo buildings usually also all have pools, which in the Ruzafa, the historical center, you'll never get a pool.
It's almost like you keep getting more as you go out. Like you don't get the elevator in the old center, you get the charm, right? Then in Ruzafa, you get the elevator, you get a bit more light, but you don't get the pool. But then you get out to these buildings on the other side of the park, 30 minutes walk from the old center, and you get this huge park at your doorstep, and you get, a
more
pool
space
as part of your complex, more space.
But
more
not a
light.
house. If you want a house, you have to go further outside, which we're going to later.
You know, people are looking for the space, obviously, families. What are they paying for
Similar
places like
to Ruzafa, around 350,000 and up, but generally the flats are a little bit smaller. You do have more communal space and pools and gardens that are shared, but the flats are not as big because they're newer, so families at this stage when they start making them are smaller.
For rent, like if I want to rent you know, one of these modern places, or, you know, what are we paying for, say, a 2-bedroom apartment?
2-bedroom apartment on a normal level for rent, probably around 1,800 a month.
We jump into the car to take a closer look.
You know what I don't understand is the rent seems to be a better value than buying. What are your interest rates in Spain on mortgages right now? At one time, in America, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, 4 years ago, was you have really good credit and equity in your house, or a good down payment or whatever, you could get under 3%. So you could get like 2.5%, 2.75% for 30 years, which was a crazy interest rate for America. I mean, less than 3%. Now it's like 6 or 7, maybe even 8. It's a mess. And that last time I calculated on a decent, well, probably slightly better than average house, that was over $1,000 a month just in interest difference, just in the interest rate. So makes a big difference. What's your interest rate in Spain? Because if I'm buying a $350,000 property and it only rents out for $1,500 a month, I mean, that's probably less than my mortgage payment. Definitely less than my mortgage payment, my maintenance, my taxes, my, you know, all the things that go into owning something. It's almost better just to rent, it seems. Let me know. Well, interest rate makes all the difference, I guess.
Look at these modern developments, but as we get closer, it doesn't quite have the charm that maybe you're looking for in a European city.
Yeah, the feel, from a distance, I saw these buildings and it's like, you know, it looks like I'm going to have more space and it's going to be more airy. But it's true, up close, there's less charm.
So Kate keeps driving and we head out to the beach. Now, Valencia isn't exactly on the beach, but Playa Malvarosa and its adjacent Cabanyal neighborhood are just a short ride from the historic center.
It's kind of one of the widest beaches I've ever seen.
But a lot of people have started to move out here as Ruzafa was kind of, you know, got very expensive.
Yeah.
So more people have come out here to try to live, the younger people, for example. So it's got a real funky feel to it.
And the beach. This is also called the beach of people from Madrid, right? This is the closest. It's the closest beach to Madrid.
We do joke about that, yes.
Yeah.
But throughout history, that has served us well. That's why the Valencia port was so important, which we've just gone by the Valencia port. You can see the kind of industrial containers. It is actually the largest port in Spain, more important than Barcelona for moving containers. And this is where the cruise ships come in as well, which started coming in 2007, which I think, you know, did shoot Valencia's popularity up because people started to know about it.
Then we dive into Cabanyal, a beautiful old fishing neighborhood that's become increasingly popular for people moving to Valencia who want to live the beach life. And as prices here go up,
I just want to show you these homes up here that have obviously been recently renovated.
It has become a focus for some of the tensions around gentrification.
Are the locals kind of blaming foreigners for gentrification, or?
There's some of that, like in every city.
Yeah.
But we don't have an overwhelming feeling of that because I think Valencia is hungry to have, you know, a little bit more economic power like Barcelona does. So I think, you know, we're hungry to take it all in.
I mean, here in, you know, this beautiful neighborhood, further out from the city.
All right, I know some of you guys actually live in Valencia. Are you hungry to take it all in? Are you welcoming tourists to come in and buy your real estate? Let me know. I mean, I never in my life ever thought about living in a foreign country. Ever. But I can see the appeal for sure, a country like Spain, where the offset of the American dollar and the average income, that kind of thing, it translates very well for someone coming from America or Canada or Switzerland or even Germany. I mean, I could totally see. I was actually talking to my wife last night about it. If you have, four good friends, four good families that are friends, you could buy a $400,000 place in Spain, and then, each family gets 3 months a year, almost like a timeshare. I mean, what a value that would be. Just to spend a couple of months over there. You could alternate the months each year or whatever. It's better than an Airbnb or a hotel or whatever. Plus, as the real estate goes up, it's also an investment. So let me know, how do you guys feel about Americans and Canadians and English and Germans moving into your cities? That you welcome with open arms, or a little bit stick to your own, or overcrowded? Let me know.
City, what are the prices? What would somebody have to pay for a 3-bedroom to buy and to rent?
Generally, you're looking almost at half price. And that would be around 150 to 200,000 to buy, or 1,000 to rent for about a 3-bedroom, which is the average here.
But to get into the center, what is it? Tram?
So there
Bike.
is a metro, there's public bike, and it's very flat.
Yeah.
And there's a really good bus that comes every 10 minutes. That metro comes about every 5 to 6 minutes.
But what if you need more space? Maybe you want a house with a garden, perhaps your own pool. Well, generally for that, you've got to head further out to one of the outlying villages or developments. But first, it's time for lunch. And this is Spain, so we're gonna do lunch properly. Kate introduces me to her Valencian husband, Vicente.
Hola, Vicente. ¿Qué tal estás?
And shows me one of the benefits of living in the outskirts of the city.
Yeah, right.
Croquetas de cocido.
Yeah.
Croquettes.
They're just small shellfish. Salud. Gracias, chicos. Oh, that is so good.
Out here, you get quieter beaches and local paella restaurants right on the sand.
What is the señoret paella?
Well, the name is Paella del Señoret, and Señoret means in Valencian, kind of gentleman or rich people. Maybe they don't want to get dirty, or they don't want to use the hands to eat.
Okay.
So everything is peeled. You see the
Yeah.
little prawns, a little rape, calamari.
Yeah.
Also.
Is this for me? Okay. Thank you. That is so good. It's such a rich, deep flavor. Are you having paella all the time? Is it every weekend? Is it like the Sunday roast in England?
Well, in my family, which is a very traditional family, we have at least rice during the weekends. So when I cook paella at home, I don't let even the kids have chips.
So you're like a paella dictator. You're a true Valencian, right?
Something like that, because I spend 2 hours cooking for the family, so I want everybody eat it.
It's true that once somebody starts cooking, it's kind of like you want to start eating and drinking because it's the ambiance, right? And then you're full by the time you get to the rice.
Yeah.
As you see, there's a little bit left, so we're not, we'll get there.
After scraping up the last grains of rice, Kate takes me north to a
104 euros for lunch. Is that normal? That seems a little expensive. If you compare that, I mean, that's a tenth of the rent. Right? I mean, they were renting 3 bedrooms for $1,000 a month, and you just spent 1,000 euros a month. You just spent 100 and something euros on lunch. Let me know what's going on there. Is that normal? Seems a little expensive to me. For the ratio. The ratio of the cost of living just seems expensive. Or is that just like a fancy place?
semi-gated community within the town of Puzol. And in short, it's where the rich set live. So if you're after a big home, a garden, and a pool, and you have the budget, this might be the spot for you.
We're about a 20-minute drive to the city.
Okay.
And it's about a 7-minute drive down to the beach area. But this is kind of like the Beverly Hills of Valencia.
Oh, I like it.
And
We can dream a little, right?
yeah, but you do have in this area really nice big houses that have their own gardens and their own pools, whereas closer to the city, you'd have more townhouses with perhaps shared pool if you
Okay.
want a modern house.
If you want a backyard, you got to get out of the city.
Absolutely, and that's important if people come with cats or dogs.
Yeah,
because
or
a lot
kids.
of people, or
Sometimes,
kids.
yeah. If we want to get a sense of what the lay of the land of this area is like, you can see like this house has a pool and a tennis court. This house has a pool. House has a pool, land.
Exactly.
It's actually quite a good way to get a sense of kind of what you're gonna
Yeah.
get here. House with pool. So what would we be spending if we wanted to live here?
Well, it depends on the size,
Yeah.
but you really can find something out here for the same price as a condo in the city.
Really? So like 300, 400, 500,000?
It depends if it's a refurb, even 250,000.
Sold.
It would be smaller, but you can also spend millions. You can get to about
If you can, I mean, so basically she's saying you could get a really nice house with a pool for 300,000 or 400,000 with a yard in a, I think they call it a semi-gated community. I don't know what that means. I guess that's like the wall between America and Mexico. It's sort of a wall, but there's big holes in it. Yeah, I'd rather do that than live in the city. For sure. For sure. You guys know where this is? Have you been there? Have you been in any of these homes? I mean, it's a little odd for me, I'll be honest with you, to say that it's the Beverly Hills of anything, because Beverly Hills is like $10 million and up. Yeah, maybe $5 million and up, realistically, for most, when you think of Beverly Hills. It's 300,000 or 400,000 for a 3 or 4 bedroom, 2 or 3 bathroom house with a pool and a yard. It seems like a heck of a value. And the question is, what was it 5 years ago, or 7 years ago, or 10 years ago? Was it half that price? Is real estate going up everywhere in Spain, or just selected areas? You guys know more than I do. Let me know.
2,000 a month you can live, so it might be, it makes more sense to probably rent if it's that.
And if you live
Yeah,
here, I
it's
think
weird.
something people also want when they come to Spain is like, I want to walk to the town center and I want to go to the local restaurants. Can you do that here? Or is this car life?
This is more car life, but each urbanización or kind of complex has a club.
Okay.
And a club will have a paddleball court
Okay.
and a restaurant, so a lot of people meet in the club. That's where they get
That
their
sounds
social life.
very
But
flash. I see a club up here.
that's an example of
Club
the
de Campo Los Monasterios.
exactly. So they'll have tennis there, and you'll have a local restaurant and a pool to use together, and that's where a lot of the social life in this area would happen.
I know we have more to see, and we still have to see your home, Kate.
Yeah.
So let's keep on going.
Finally, it's time to see Kate's home. She's got 3 kids and wanted to live by the water, and the beach area near the town of El Puig was perfect. First, she takes me to see the beach, which she says is quiet even in summer.
All of the flats are completely 100% occupied, but the beach never gets so busy that you can't find a spot because it's real just locals and Valencians that come out here. And we don't have foreign tourists out here, or even a lot of Madrileños.
You're going to give us a house tour, so really get a sense of what it's like to live here from the inside out. And I know your family is waiting to have afternoon tea with us, a very Valencian afternoon tea. Hola, qué presión, toda la familia.
You know Vicente,
Yeah.
This is Alexandra, our 16-year-old.
Hola.
Cento,
Hola, Cento.
who is 14. Pau, who is 9. And my mother-in-law, Maria.
Encantado. Sí.
Mi suegro, Vicente.
Encantado, Vicente.
Encantado.
So each of these is a home, right? Adosados, so like townhouses.
Yeah,
terraced.
exactly. From the outside, they don't look so big, but actually they have about the most square meters as one could get in this area.
So this is what we'd call an American kitchen.
Yeah,
Cocina
that
Americana.
Cocina Americana.
I looked at some other, I don't know if I'm going to post the video or not, but I looked at some other real estate channels for Spain, and the kitchens were just tiny. I mean, like almost like a little closet. And granted, they were just apartments and they were smaller, but this is a lot more normal for an American. You know, you have an island, you have a, you know, a whole row of cabinets, uppers and lowers. This is a 5 burner. I mean, this is actually probably a little above average for a lot of people, I would imagine.
Which means an open kitchen, right? And we have an island, which is not so typical here.
Yeah.
Someday, you know, with all the stairs, we might, you know, regret this.
Yeah.
But for now, we have the, you know, kids' office area. And shall we go up first, James?
Yeah, whichever you prefer.
The split level gives some privacy. Of course, we have the guest bathroom, which we also, I did my own refurb with, so probably not very well done.
Oh, this is lovely.
This is also a bedroom that used to have a balcony that we pushed the doors out.
Okay.
And a refurb bathroom as well.
Okay, so there's a lot of rooms here. So how many bedrooms is this?
Well, 4.
4.
And an office, so it could be 5, but it's kind of an open, the 4th and 5th bedroom are kind of open.
And how many bathrooms?
Well, 2.5.
2.5.
So up here is the boys' zone, which
Okay, just out of curiosity, I know you guys are running 240 volt, right? I assume, the electricity. Why are your light switches so big? Is it because of the voltage that has to have a like room to breathe? What? They're just huge. If you put 2 or 3 of your light switches together on a wall, it's equivalent to like 7 or 8 American switches. Like I have, maybe I'll try to take a picture of one of my light switches and import it in this thing as I'm trying to learn how to edit more. I think I'll do that. And I'll show you the difference between our light switches and your light switches. It's a huge difference. I'm just curious why are they so big? And in a big house, I mean, like, you know, I've been in a lot of mansions, and in the grand room or the grand entry, you could have 8, 9, 10 switches in a row, you know, controlling all the lights in that area. So if you had 8 or 9 or 10 of these switches, it would be like the entire wall would be full of switches. Let me know what's going on there. I'm very curious why it's so big and why it has to be so big. I'm assuming it's just so it could breathe, I guess. I assume you're 240.
which is remarkably clean for now, believe it or not.
Yeah.
The boys are, it's usually not this clean. So they have a bunk bed in there, and the older son has, you know, out here there's a balcony that you can see.
Oh, that's lovely. So there's another balcony, yeah.
And so up here is my office and my daughter's room. So that could be a bedroom, but it's an office.
Yeah.
And up here is really the biggest room. My daughter has the best room of the house, I think.
Good for her.
Because out here we have a really nice big terrace with pretty much the best view of the house. And my husband does some boxing up here and some boxing in the basement, which we'll see after.
And there's the beach. Wow.
You can get a good view of the style of patios that people have. That if they don't have kids, they're nicely manicured.
What would a property like this cost? Like a townhouse in here, 5 bedrooms in this part, and this is near the beach?
The houses in this area are going to be $250,000 to $800,000.
And who do you think it's like this area is right for?
Well, definitely if you're living in a big home, it's usually because you have a family. You're not going to have this space for, you know, a couple.
Yeah.
They'd probably choose a condo. So, but really very family oriented out here because you have a lot of beach space and outdoor space.
But enough of our talk. I've been promised a Valencian afternoon tea with the family, and of course, it includes the local drink, ice cold horchata.
So kids, what languages do you speak?
English,
Yeah.
Spanish, Castellano, and Valencian.
Wow, so you're trilingual.
I'm foreign because I'm studying in France right now, so I speak French too.
Oh my God, okay. And 3 languages.
Castellano, English, and Valencian.
And I just saw behind Vicente, you're showing us how to do it. So how do you got to dip the fartón
like this.
in the horchata.
Be careful, and then
Okay.
Really good.
Yeah. It's so good. Yeah. And the rice we had today was excellent. So I don't know if you're supposed to.
When they said they speak Valencian, I mean, it's just a little different dialect of Spanish, or what's going on there? Let me know.
Toast horchata.
Oh, we can do that, yes.
We can do that? Salud. Chin chin, salud. Thank you for welcoming me into your home, everybody. It's good.
What do you rate it out of 10?
I'm gonna give this a 9.5.
Pretty solid.
Kids, show me how you do a toast, how you do cheers in Spanish.
Arriba, abajo, al centro y para adentro.
Eso. Up, down, out, and in. So, Kate, if someone's interested in moving to Valencia, like, what should they keep in mind as they explore the different options?
I would tell them that we have so much variety of areas. Some people think it was only city or beach.
Yeah.
But with all the different neighborhoods, there's so many less explored neighborhoods. Today we touched upon some of the more popular ones, but hopefully I've opened people's eyes to how much more variety there is even outside of Valencia, and it really just depends on their stage of life, how many people they're coming with, and for how long.
Yeah.
So most importantly, I think it's such a big decision to come here to Valencia first, see it firsthand. No matter how much research they do, nothing can take the place of that kind of experience.
And I just wanted to give a plug there, guys, for your tours. Remember, Kate does tours for tourists, tours for expats who are looking at moving here, orientation tours. So information down below, check it out. And thank you so much, Kate. Thank you so much. It's
thank
been
you,
wonderful.
James.
Thank you for showing me around. I've learned a lot about Valencia today, and I've had some great food.
Well, there you go, guys. What do you think? Are you tired of foreigners moving to your country, or do you welcome us with open arms? Are they really, are foreigners really taking real estate that locals would have? Or are they taking real estate that locals wouldn't be in anyway? Or are all the builders now building for the outsiders versus building for the locals? Let me know your thoughts. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Who wants to move to a place that is, they don't welcome people? Not me. Just curious. It is a situation where it does seem like the secret is out. That Spain is a fantastic value. For a long time in America, people have tried to decide where to move outside of America for a lower cost of living, or even in America. You take a lot of people from like New York and they'll move down to like Florida, or you take a lot of people from California, they'll move to Texas because the cost of living is so much less. So they got this higher income, for their whole life, or even their retirement, if they're on some kind of a pension or something like that. And the dollar just goes a lot further in Florida than it does in New York, or in Texas, more than it does in California. So a lot of people have taken the next step. The whole big thing was to move to Costa Rica. A lot of people move to Costa Rica to retire, or even Mexico. But for me, I would never think about moving, to a small country that's semi-stable. But Spain, Germany, England, Ireland, these are normal countries to me, and I could definitely see the appeal. It seems like so far, Spain seems to have the least expensive cost of living for someone coming from America. So let me know your thoughts. It's an interesting topic, and if you find anything that you want me to look at, please put it down in the comment section. I'm always on the lookout for good cathedrals and castles, or even mansions. Right now we're focused on Spain and Germany. So you got something, put it down in the comment section. If you're new to my channel, it's anything and everything that interests me as an average middle-aged American. That includes learning about other countries and other cultures, learning more about America, informing others about America if they're interested, correcting little misinformation about America when I see it, but mostly learning about other countries. Right now we're focused on Spain and Germany, so we're going to go all through Europe. The idea is my wife and I plan on doing a lot of traveling when we go into retirement or even soft retirement. And we just want to know as much as we can before we get on a plane. It's just that simple. I appreciate all of you. We hit 1,000 subscribers. I can't thank you enough. I learn from you every day. You hear it all the time, and I'm going to keep saying it as long as I mean it. So that's where we are. And I will see you on the next one. Take care.